What is going on, Scan fam? Welcome to another episode of the CryptoCurrent. Quite the week in crypto this week. It's been a little rough, not gonna lie. Here we've got the ETH chart pulled up on CoinScan. 1406, looking a little painful. Some crazy news in the market this week. Some things that are bleeding out from traditional finance into the crypto world, and some very drastic things in the crypto world. So without further ado, we're here with Gons and Dennis, and let's get into the news this week. So kicking off with this first story, so Bitcoin falls below 20,000 as 2023 rally reverses. So a hawkish Fed, the demise of crypto-friendly Silvergate Bank, and a possible government sale of Silk Road-related Bitcoin have given investors ample reason to sell. The price of Bitcoin has fallen below $20,000 for the first time since mid-January because of a wave of bearish news that has overwhelmed crypto's strong 2023 uptrend. The largest cryptocurrency by market capitalization quickly regained some of its lost ground late Thursday and was recently hovering at around $20,040, down 7.7% over the past 24 hours.
I personally think, for Bitcoin to fall, it's like it kind of carries the whole market with it since it's such a big juggernaut. Altcoins and everything, the entire market, you're going to just see decline. So not too good for the market, but overall, corrections need to happen. Volatility will still happen. It's crypto at the end of the day.
What we need to remember too is typically March is always a very red month. So we were coming off of February, which is green. So it's expected to see some correction in March. Although I don't know if we were anticipating 10%, 10% decline in one day. But we'll see kind of what happens here, if this is kind of the bottom of March or if we've still got some more room to fall.
Right. And, we went from, 16,000 up to 25,000 within a month. So, some downside is expected when you pump that hard, that fast. Nonetheless, Dennis, you are completely right. Bitcoin does lead the greater crypto market. It has just below, I want to say it's around 40% of the market capitalization is just Bitcoin. It really is that juggernaut. And, it's interesting as well because there are some altcoins that can kind of tell you where Bitcoin is going to go based on their independent movements. Some people have talked about GRT being a token that does that, as well as tokens like Link. Anyways, we'll get on with our story here. So Silvergate is one of the several factors in Bitcoin's underside test, which we will actually talk about next. So Joe DePascal, CEO of crypto fund manager BitBull Capital, wrote in an email to CoinDesk, in addition to Silvergate, there is market concern of greater interest rate hikes by the Federal Open Market Committee and softening stock market prices. The SEC also shows increasing scrutiny of crypto. Taken together, the market has continued to tighten and retest support levels. So, we're really getting hit with a wombo combo this week. It's been tough. It's been brutal. But what happens, and, the inverse can always happen as well, with some good news. And with that, we'll get on to our next story here. So this is going a bit deeper into that Silicon Valley Bank. And this has actually sent the stock market crashing. Crypto is following, so... As Silicon Valley Bank fails to reassure customers of its financial state, crypto-focused venture capital investors urge the firms to remove assets from the bank. Both stock and crypto markets are in the red, causing panic among traders. The announcement follows a dramatic decrease in the shares of SVB Financial Group, the bank's parent business, which plunged by more than 60%. The loss came on the same day that the news was released. 60% in one of the world's biggest banks is absurd. Silicon Valley Bank announced a stock offering of $1.75 billion earlier this week, in addition to separate purchase of $500 million common stock by private equity firm General Atlantic to shore up its balance sheet. This announcement caused investors to sell their shares, which led to the sell-off. This is a huge wick down from, just around 270 to 170, $100 lost, just like that.
Huge. This is the biggest bank failure since the Great Recession ever.
Yeah.
So, this is massive.
I was even reading a little bit more into it, and apparently uninsured depositors will receive a certificate for the remaining amount of uninsured funds, and apparently they had about $150 billion worth of uninsured deposits. So it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to get out of this hole and what's going to follow. I personally think this is a very, very big deal, and we're going to see it being talked about for the coming months for sure.
Yeah, and it kind of brings to light that situation of like, FTX got a huge spotlight on it because, it was a huge problem, right? Like tons of customers lost billions of dollars because of insolvency. But here we see, one of the world's largest banks, becoming insolvent, and there's even more money at play here. I think it'll be interesting to see the angle that the media takes on this as it's traditional finance compared to crypto.
And they're an FDIC insured bank, so it's going to be also interesting to see how there's just a lot at stake here. So it's going to be interesting to see how they manage it, how overall certain regulations come out of this. Again, we're still building the financial system. The financial system is not perfect yet. Whether it's crypto, whether it's fiat currency, it's not perfect. And this is over and over again we're seeing in both markets. So we're here to build, we're here to innovate. So I'm excited to see how we're going to get out of this and make sure this doesn't happen in the future.
Right.
This is a good case to look at the difference between crypto and traditional finance, because in traditional finance you have fractionalized, reserves, which means the bank operates on a fraction of what, customers actually hold in the bank. And so this is kind of one of the reasons we're seeing SVB collapse, whereas the FTX situation, by comparison, was just complete, utter mismanagement by a clown. And so it almost kind of shows you that crypto has such a longer runway to grow, because it was just a mismanagement by one person, not a failure of a system in place. So it kind of does bring to light that traditional finance does have its flaws that crypto is here to solve.
Right.
Additionally, I actually just saw the FDIC actually create an article that says Silicon Valley Bank is the first FDIC-insured institution to fail this year. So by them making that official statement, it's a little bit scary, but it is what it is. So just wanted to share that with the team.
Yeah. And first to fail this year, it's Mars.
Yeah, that doesn't set a good tone at all.
Right.
But hopefully the depositors kind of get their funds back through the FDIC.
Yeah. Here we got a little heat map of just kind of the market reacting to these recent crashes. So Bitcoin down 8%, ETH down 8.4%, BNB down 5.2%. A lot of blood across the market. Then you got SVB Financial Group down 60%.
One thing I wanted to add, sorry for interrupting, about the SVB is a lot of the startup communities are within these banks, and since the startups aren't doing as well, I think that also caused a little bit of uncertainty as well for the bank. So just something to keep in mind. SVB is a really big supporter in a lot of these startups. I saw people posting on Twitter and other places like LinkedIn that they were moving all their funds to other banks, and they're mainly using Silicon Valley, and their whole day was spent trying to move funds, because I believe they insure only up to $250,000. Anything that exceeds that amount is not insured by the FDIC. So just something to additionally to add. So sorry for interrupting.
Jeez, yeah. That's a good anecdote. So yeah, crazy stuff. This is definitely a huge catalyst. But we'll get on to our next story here. So this is talking about the New York Attorney General suing Kucoin, claiming Ethereum is a security. So the New York Attorney General's office today filed a lawsuit against cryptocurrency exchange Kucoin, allegedly violating securities and commodities laws in the states. In the complaint, Attorney General Letitia James makes the startling claim that not only are Terra Luna and Terra UST securities, as previously alleged by the United States Securities and Exchange Commission, but also Ethereum, the second largest cryptocurrency by market capitalization. This action is one of the first times a regulator is claiming in court that ETH, one of the largest cryptocurrencies available, is a security. Today's announcement read, the petition argues that ETH, just like Luna and UST, is a speculative asset that relies on the efforts of third-party developers in order to provide profit to the holders of ETH. The New York Attorney General's lawsuit targets Kucoin for allegedly falsely representing itself as an exchange, when really it is a securities and commodities broker-dealer. It aims to block access to the exchange in New York by forcing Kucoin to geofence its website based on IP addresses and GPS location. I think it's interesting that the New York Attorney General here is only talking about Terra and Ethereum, calling those securities, sure, I can see like Terra UST in particular, right? Like, I can see that Ethereum, tons of use to Ethereum, so that surprises me. But, regardless, my point here is that Kucoin is one of those exchanges that, really offers tons of different cryptocurrencies, right? Like there's so many random niche cryptos you can find on Kucoin, and, certainly there are plenty of securities within that broadband of cryptos that they offer. It surprises me that they're going after these two in particular.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I just think there's going to be more and more investigations into other exchanges. I think we spoke about this in other podcasts. They're just going to keep digging and trying to latch on to certain things, and they're kind of doing their job, and they need to be poking at this, because if nobody's poking at it, it's not going to get better.
Right.
I'm not saying I agree. Obviously, I actually think that will not go through properly, but that's just my opinion. But it's going to be interesting to see, because the more holes that are poked in this, the more change, the more improvement, the more clarity the environment is going to get, and the more adoption it will get. So I think there's a lot of, like we said in the past, institutional investors that are scared of just any attorney general trying to claim anything against any exchange or any cryptocurrency. So it's just going to be interesting to see how this further kind of claims the usability of these tokens, or whatever they kind of, I don't know, just a total improvement. So I'm excited to see where this goes.
For sure.
Definitely. It's worth mentioning that, in the lawsuit, as they mentioned in the article, they're saying that because KuCoin is, listing UST and Luna and ETH, that it, they're claiming it's a securities and commodity broker dealer. And so if this, goes through, I mean, this opens the floodgates for every exchange that has Luna and UST on it to become,
right,
subject to this lawsuit and potentially face repercussions. So it seems like a little bit too overreaching for it to go through, like you mentioned, Evan. But it's something that we definitely want to keep our eyes on, and it's probably something that we shouldn't be surprised if we start seeing other exchanges be targeted because of how this is worded.
Yeah, it is weird. Like, I mean, as far as I know, every crypto exchange, at least every popular one, offers ETH.
Exactly.
Most of them offer Luna, even though it's in the state that it is. So yeah, I think that, I don't know, this could be some political theater, regardless, it is a case to keep an eye on.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to actually add on is I'm pretty sure KuCoin is not even licensed to operate in the United States.
No.
So it's actually super interesting. That's another point, that why are they going after an exchange that shouldn't operate within the United? It brings up a few more questions in my mind, but interesting how they're not going after any other exchanges. But anyway, just kind of something that came into mind.
Yeah, I mean, you need a VPN to even access it in the United States, so it is interesting. They're telling it to geo-block its website from New York, but as far as I know, it already is. Anywho, we'll get on with our last story here. So this one is very interesting. The three of us actually saw this happen in real time, and we were very confused. So Huobi's HT token suddenly fell 93% and then rebounds just as quickly. And oddly enough, we actually just uploaded our Huobi exchange review like about a week ago. So I think how fast it rebounded and where it's at, it stands a testament to the quality of Huobi as an exchange. It didn't just crash and then everyone lost all their money. Exchange is screwed. Flash crash, sure, tons of people probably got liquidated, and that hurts. But it has rebounded relatively stably. So Huobi's HT token, the native token of the cryptocurrency exchange, momentarily dropped 93% on Thursday for reasons that are unclear, and then it quickly rebounded. The token dropped from a 24-hour high of 4.81 to a low of 31 cents at around 21 UTC on Huobi's exchange, according to TradingView's pricing source. Other exchanges saw a similar drop in price. On Uniswap, I want to say it got down to around 0.65, around there. And then just wicked right back up as soon as it wicked down. So just before the crash, $2 million worth of sales were reported in the 5 minutes leading up to it. A researcher at Kaiko tweeted, normally buys on the HT-USDT pair amount to about $600,000. At press time, the token had rebounded and it was trading at 3.7 on Huobi. It is down about 24% over the past 24 hours. The wild price action was noticeable because HT is one of the larger cryptocurrencies with a market capitalization of about $630 million after the rebound. Crypto traders followed the token partly because Justin Sun, founder of the Tron blockchain, has disclosed that he is a big holder, in addition to being a leader of the exchange's strategy. So Sun, in a tweet, said the Huobi exchange's operations are safe, as are its wallets and backend. In a second tweet, he apologized for the leveraged liquidation on the market caused by a few users, and said that Huobi will create a $100 million fund to improve multi-currency liquidity. So yeah, I think it's a good move, right? Like, Huobi handled it well. Liquidation wicks can happen on these, rather illiquid cryptocurrencies. It sounds like it had about $600,000 in volume average, which really is not much. I mean, especially for something with a $600 million market cap.
Super low. It seems honestly like a whale just got kind of frightened by some news and then decided to sell on that pair. And then that's kind of what caused it to spiral out of control. But I mean, it was insane, and it rebounded within minutes. It was absolutely crazy.
I mean, also great to see that they're actually like putting like money where their mouth is. They said that they're going to spend again $100 million of a fund to improve the multi-chain currency liquidity issue that potentially triggered all this stuff. And it's also going to be cool to see what kind of frameworks they create, what certain patterns they see that actually help them to avoid these kind of quick kind of pumps and dumps with their tokens.
I mean, Justin Sun has been a rather vocal person in the space for quite some time. Tron is a very popular blockchain. Huobi is a popular exchange. Good to see him making the right move here. And yeah, that's going to wrap it up for this week's CryptoCurrent. We look forward to seeing you guys next week. Hopefully we come bearing some better news than we brought this week. It's been a turbulent week, especially the last few days. I guess the week didn't start off all that bad. But here we are at the end of the week, down probably about, 10-20% from where we were. Regardless, we will see you guys next week. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you are following CoinScan. We have got a major update coming soon with pending transactions finally. I know lots of our users have been waiting eagerly for that. So we are very, very excited to be releasing that. And yeah, we'll see you next week.